So thank you so much for everybody in this room. We have just only 30 minutes from now. So we would like to have some discussion for the both our guests, special guest for the big corporate company from SCB and EGAT. So maybe everybody know me already from Thai IoT. That also most I experience for the automation IoT maybe over 30 years. Yeah. And for this time, I'm the moderator for conduct to interview and some explanation both together and cooperate and share to our in this room.
Kun Suvicha, could you please sit right at your photo, please? Thank you very much. Your photo at the back. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, come. So I would like to have further some introduction for Pitep. I will call him for the nickname Pitep. To introduce for the internal SCB policy for the multi-cloud and security. That I'm not sure for the SCB group have internal policy. What is the detail? Can you explain in this?
Sawadee krap. Good afternoon, everybody. At SCB, we start using cloud for many years already. At first, we start with the one who was like quite famous and popular in Thailand. I think that it's no secret, right? We start with AWS, and we adopt the first cloud without solid policy, I would say. It's similar to every policy, that policy cannot be solid until someone start using it. Policy is just like quite blur at the beginning, and at that time even the NCSA or Bank of Thailand still not come out with any guideline on the cloud security or cloud usage at that moment. So it's a kind of we are learning and building the policy along the way, and come into a certain era, I would say, right? Because everyone knows and aware that cloud is really competitive, right? At a certain time, right? When Microsoft is changing their strategy to focus on cloud, so they become to develop quite innovative services and technology on cloud, and also the others. Cloud service provider, right? So hyperscaler are coming into competition on the services and how to utilize, right? And also the price, the cost, right? So at that time, SCB start to adopt the different cloud provider. Right? Surprisingly, right, the second one that we heavily used after AWS was Huawei. Because at that time, Huawei was one of the major, I think I can use major cloud service provider, right, who has the data center in Thailand. So we start to consider, right, the sovereignty at that time, right, many years ago. Right? So we start adopting Huawei Cloud, right, and that is starting the multi-cloud, not policy yet, right? Multi-cloud practice in SCB, right? And then it's come to when Microsoft is getting stronger, right, and very aggressive in pricing, right? So when I say about this, right, it's not only technology, it's also the pricing right? It's also the return of investment, right? At the end of the day, is the operating model, right? When the team are learning, right, and using different services from different providers, and how are they going to utilize the best of services, right, and mix together. It's not easy, it's very difficult, right? So, and then the policy, not the policy yet, the guideline from Bank of Thailand, guideline from NCSA coming up, right? So, and that time the SCBX also established. It's very well known in Thailand when SCBX established as the motherhood of the very companies under SCB Bank at that time. So then we are adopting the guideline from the regulators, right, to become the group policy. Okay. And at the beginning, the policy mentioning like primary cloud, secondary cloud, right, and not encourage the multi-cloud at that time, because we know that multi-cloud come with the major costs and major operation headache. Right? The skill of people, how the services from the multi-layer of the hyperscaler connect and talk to each other, the latency and many things, right? And also the cost of the economy of scale from negotiating with one hyperscaler, right? To at a certain volume, then we have a better discount, something like that, right? So it's come many dimensions to come into the decision, right? And now, since Google is becoming very aggressive in data and analytics area, right? So we are starting on Google journey as well. So it's a mix and match. But when we talk about this group of hyperscaler, some are not yet having data center in Thailand. Microsoft is building their data center in Thailand. AWS already there, but we start using AWS since they are not having the Thailand region. Right? So migrating to the localized data center is in the roadmap, right? To try to put a certain level of sovereignty into our infrastructure. However, we are also looking on building the local, in the SCB data center, right? Some facilities, I would not call it the private cloud on-premise yet, right? But at the beginning, right, building some facility, starting from porting the critical data, right, from the hyperscaler to our own data center, right? Because when we using the hyperscaler, and we talk about the C confidentiality, I integrity, A availability, right, they are okay. Right? They have certification, they have very well-known reputation on this kind of things. They have security services parameters that we can decide to have our own tenants, our own guardrail using their services, right? But when we look at the availability on the flip side, if there's something happening, right, like geopolitical, the US government one day angry with someone, shut down the access, right? Yeah. Availability of data is critical because the services, right? When we use multi-cloud, we try to use the common services that can be deployed or can be replicated or competitive services on different provider, right? In order to not have the concentration risks, not have the vendor lock-in risk, right? But the data is beyond this layer, right? So the critical thing is that we have data at our own premise, in order for have at least data availability. And if something critical happening, right, hopefully it will not happen. And Thailand is friends of everybody, right? So it should not happening, right? but who knows, right? So, first, right, data security, data availability, right, at our own premise. Then the architecture that we design or the multi-cloud environment, we try to select the common services that can be deployed or have the competitive services, right, somewhere else. If someone happen to one of the hyperscaler that we cannot have access to, right, we can build similar or competitive architecture, right, elsewhere. It's not easy, like I said, everyone know, right? But at least we have the roadmap. We have the strategy on that. So when we talk about the multi-cloud strategy, right, I start from multi-dimension of considering, right? Start from the burden on building the skill of the people, right? On the economy of scale, on negotiating with the particular hyperscaler, right? And then on the exit plan, right? By using the multi-cloud strategy, right? To be one of the exit plan, right? And all in all, this have to be under the cloud security policy, right? That focusing by the regulators.
Okay. Oh, very good. Very interesting to get more knowledge from SCB, because in the back end we never understand for the cloud strategy from the SCB. So for the next, I would like to ask for the Jitsatha to introduce for the EGAT policy for the multi-cloud and security. Yeah.
Thank you for having EGAT here today. I would like to add to the PTEP contents is because he explained a lot of journeys of SCB towards cloud journeys, very clear. For EGAT, we are not quite have long journey in cloud as SCB, but I would like to share some perspective and our practices on how we handle our cloud strategies. For us, today topics, there are two things that to consider. One is the keyword about sovereignty and multi-cloud is kind of a strategic level, as PTEP already mentioned. Another one is security. Maybe we can add it something like resilience to it, to security. It's kind of operational things. So at these two levels, I would like to share some practice on this one. The first point at the cloud strategies, we believe that cloud strategy itself is a part of a business resilience strategy. It should not treat it separately. It's not IT things, it's business things. Because it's not only about the agility or benefit from or cost saving from the cloud, but it will impact the resiliencies or continuity or cyber risk of the organization itself. So it's like bring up to that maybe executive level on that decisions. And for the operation side, we see cloud strategy as the control. Actually, it's not quite, we cannot control something 100%, right? But it's kind of managed, how we manage, strategy to manage the cloud. For the point of sovereignty, for us, yeah. Today we already discussed, a lot of panelists already mentioned about that things about that in Thailand or outside Thailand. But I would like to add that besides from the location of data, there are a lot of things we should consider along with sovereignties. One is that what do you need to control to ensure that sovereignty really effective. The one part may be the identity of our admin team and our users. The other maybe it's some kind of security operations. And the architecture, like Pitep already mentions, the data itself, and also the capability for continuity and recovery of things that you put in the cloud. This one is the final resource that we have after the things happen, right? So it means that we should not just decide based on local or outside country cloud. We must choose something in between that match our context or business context or our mission, organizational mission. For, let's say, for EGAT, since we provide electric power for the entire country, right? So this one is the mission that may be the foundation of everything in today's economy, right? Electricity. It means that if we go like cloud first policy, everything go to cloud. It means we have mixed about the dependencies, because electricity is everything for everyone, and also we put some dependency in our operation to go to the network part, to the cloud in Singapore or something else. How to manage this dependency? So it means that we cannot put everything in one basket. We need to balance this one and select which part is which part, how to handle each part. So we come up with something like, if we try to formalize our cloud strategy, it will be strategic hybrid plus selective multi-cloud. It means that at level 1, we choose something that is the core of EGAT. It must be have 100% sovereignty. It means that it should be local. And at that part, you think about that power plant, you think about that transmission system, connect power grid that connect to everyone. At this part, both EGAT, PA, and MEA always treat this one like 100% local. And we can handle this one, this area, in such the way that even after the blackout happen, we can still have capability to bring the light come back for everyone. This is the most inner ring. The second part, maybe the layer 2, is we call something like strategic enterprise cloud. It maybe part. We need to get the value from the hyperscaler and the cloud, as Pitep told us. We need, because if we 100% on premise, we lost a lot of opportunities. We need to manage this risk. So at this ring, we focus about the productivity activities, system that provide productivity in the office, in the business, not the operation at that electricity foundation. So we can use like Office 365 for every collaboration service in EGAT. We use that, and also since we part is in work along with Microsoft on 365, our primary hyperscaler is Azure. We use it for like 3 years, and we have the contract for another 3 years. So it should be, we have 6 years to learn, and maybe we can learn from Pitep experience that we should look for the other selective one. We also get some part like past services from Google for analytics. This one we not use Microsoft. It's kind of try to learn more to build our internal capability to familiar and have the skill set to work with the other cloud provider as well. Something like that. ERP is another journey for us. Currently, we use internal ERP like on-premise ERP, but they are pushing us to the cloud. So we are at the crucial point to make a decision. But it's easier for us because today there are a lot of hyperscaler in Thailand. Yes, so it's like make life easier for EGAT to go for like subscription SaaS ERP. Yeah. The final part I would like to mention is about that how to we do that at operational level. The first is for the critical infrastructure we need resilience by design. It means that we need to make sure that at some part we need to put or invest a lot of more redundancies or design that can tolerate disruption and also the long-term disruption. Sometimes at some part we need option that we can sustain our capability, some part of capability, not the full capabilities for the longer period of time due to that geopolitical uncertainty in the world right now. Yeah. In order to do that, finally, we need to make sure that our internal capability and external expertise that can work with us. Today, we see a lot of solutions from the outside that can bridge the gap. A lot of us talking about that how AI will power cybersecurity operations. IGAT itself is on this journey as well. We are working on the project in my team that how to replace that SIEM system with the new one, but in different model. How to make sure that we still have log management and some capability inside that we can handle even in the situation of long-term disruptions on the network level, but put some information to the cloud to use the capability of SIEM and automation in the cloud to make sure that we can handle that AI threat or something AI power threat more efficiently. It's not like one direction and we have to adjust along the way. Yeah. So the final message, like resilience depends not only where the system runs, but how well we can maintain and control and operate at under the disruption period. Yeah. This one is for critical infrastructure companies like us. Yeah. Thank you.
Very good information and very for the boss that they share for the big group, the big company of our banks and the electric power supply in Thailand. So very good for managing the policy and also for the board. I think maybe same concept that they prefer to use for the local data center because I think that the data policy that very important to manage for the big and for the both company also related for everybody in Thailand. If everything broken or fail, I think maybe affected for everybody. In case for the electric power supply for the power grid, if some data loss or some hacker, very serious that the power will shut down for the whole our country. That I think may be very important for the 2 minutes for the policy. So maybe we have just only 5 minutes for remaining. So very quick question to answer for PTF. How to manage for the local ATM or for the cloud platform for using for the client.
Sorry.
For the security.
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 Okay. Security can be answered easily or very lengthy answer. So if you the very short answer how to manage security right on the cloud, so we comply to every standard, security standard, right? NIST, ISO whatsoever, right? And by using the hyperscaler is quite easy because they have to, right? And we as a customer we just demand, right? Demand and validate and review, right? We don't need to implement into that level of certification by ourselves. However, right, that is the common mistake. I come to the lengthy answer now. The common mistake, right, that we know that when we are using cloud, the shared responsibility, right, is a big consideration, right? Major responsibility, right, on us as a user or customer, right, is very important. Right? At the early stage of using cloud, right, users tend to believe that the security is owned by the cloud service provider and rely on them. Right? However, they don't understand or don't realize that cloud service provider has security services available, but that availability, right, customer side have to select and apply by yourself. Right? This is the common mistake. Right? We tend, as a user, right, we tend to, okay, we go to cloud, right? So it's responsibility of the cloud service provider to ensure the security, integrity, and availability. Right? And when the marketing guys come to pitch, right, everything available, you don't need to worry. Yes, they are available. But if we don't have the knowledge to select the right combination of their services that applicable to what we want to use, right, it's come into you are not as secure as you believe. Right? Secondly, if you select the too much or not relevant, you pay too much. Right? You pay whatever is not relevant to you. That is my lengthy question, right? So you have to understand, right, what is the security, right, and how to apply the different services to build your own strong house. Right? And how when I mention about your own strong house, right, is under the policy of the organization that you set it up. How strong you want to be, right? Somehow want a very high fence, right? Somehow the high fence doesn't matter, right? You just need very strong doors, something like that. Right? It depends on the policy, but as a bank, right, we are also under the regulators. Yeah. Right? So all the security policy we are need to comply to all the regulators, right? And now the NCSA released the cloud security guideline. They say guideline, right? But the Bank of Thailand used that guideline to regulate, right? So it become the mandatories, right? So we need to comply to that, right? Every single word. And really eye-opening this morning, right? When Dr. Atip from the Digital Council of Thailand mentioning about the secret agreement when the President Trump come to sign, right? Prohibit the sovereignty policy and those kind of things. That really very eye-opening to me. That is not open to public, right? So and those agreement, I understand when within the NCSA cloud security policy. At the beginning, they talk about the sovereignty, but it's gone. I know now why. Right? The second part, then they tweak to say that if you are using cloud for critical services, right, you need to have the secondary cloud, right, in the other region. And you see, other regions means what? Mean the cost of the network, mean the latency, right? And if you want to replicate the data and real-time data for the bank, right, it's huge. Right? Replicate the real-time data to the other region. It's not easy done. It's not easy done. Right? So it's not only the security part. So it's all come into the table that we need to consider. Right? So now we are kind of trying to, I would not call negotiate, try to discuss, right, whether the multi-cloud strategy can compensate with the multi-region requirement or not. Right? At least we can escape from the vendor lock-in risk, right, and concentration risk. Right? But from the physical, geographical risk, right, we need to select wisely, right, on where should be the alternate cloud provider who are not cost much on the link trouble. Yeah, sorry, it's too long.
Very good for answer, and our time very short. Still so many questions I would like to answer for the boss. Okay, we have no time. Have any question to answer for the boss guest? Just only one. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay. I think it's a good idea that later we're going to move all the data back to Thailand, sovereign, right? But if I link to the Bank of Thailand requirement about third-party requirement, right? My question is, even when they have like this cloud solution, they have their certified ISO whatever, right? But based on Kun Tapakorn opinion, right? Do you think that should we have a bargain to have a right to audit on their cloud territory whenever they move to Thailand, right? Because earlier, a big issue is because the data is reside outside of Thailand. It's quite hard for us as a customer to audit them properly. But yeah, so this is something that I would like to understand from a big company that may have a bigger bargaining to have some control over the cloud service provider.
Okay. We as a customer, right, when we sign the contract, we have the right to audit. Right? No question about that. However, the hyperscaler, they also have the right to select what to answer. Right? Right? And like you mentioned, the bargaining power, right? The big organization has more bargaining power. Bargaining power comes from what? Come from the money you spend with them. It's not come from the size of the organization, right? Whatever size of your organization is, but you pay the tiny using their cloud, they don't care. They don't care, right? So right to audit is always in the contract, right? But the cooperation, right, is another story, right? And it depends on many things: relationship, the pipeline, the partnership in the future, right? As well as the reference. If you are being the reference, right, you will have more bargaining power, right? So it's not the solid things, right? It's a partnership talk about that.
Okay, due to the time constraint, please.
Just let me finish the last question. But how about now? Could at the bank level, can you do that? Like the real auditing?
At a certain level. At a certain level.
Okay. Thank you so much for our guests for the SCB and the EGAT for P-Tape and Jitsatha. Okay, for our session already finished and maybe everybody to get for knowledge and policy from the big company. Yeah, that is to increase our knowledge. Thank you so much for today. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kun Suvicha, for moderating such a great panel.